Hey guys, what's up? We just got through watching the third episode of the Skeleton Crew. We got the crew here. We watched it together, had a fun time. Let's see what everybody thought about it. All right, guys. Like I just said, we just got through watching the Skeleton Crew episode 3. We got to see these characters and stuff. We first two episodes, pretty much everybody that was on the panel that night and everything agreed that pretty much like the show. Gave it pretty good scores. I mean, I think it ranged between like 7 and 8 between the people that were talking about it this last time. So now we're at episode 3, and we'll get what everybody think so far going on from episode 3. But right now, first reaction, kind of general thoughts about like the episode, real quick. Starting with you, Adelia.
This show is super adorable. I love all the kids. I loved their escape in this episode. I thought that was great. I love how they don't trust whatever Jude Law's character's name is, but they seem to trust the droid for some reason. That's very amusing to me. And just yeah, this is giving me, we hear lots of Goonies in space comparisons. I also get like some Peter Pan vibes, some Treasure Island vibes. So I think this is a lot of fun so far.
Yeah, I think the comparison to Goonies is really because the Goonies had pirates in it too, and these kids on an adventure. But I do think that kind of stops there. I think this is a little more serious than the Goonies. And to be honest with you, like I'm not one of those people that like super love the Goonies. I didn't think it was bad. Like I watched it when I was a kid, but if you watch it now and you're an adult, it's like, oh, it's okay, right? It's not like the greatest thing in the world that you thought whenever you was probably like a kid watching it for the first time, way back in the 80s and everything else. But I do think it kind of stops there because I do think there's some interesting like serious things that are going on, and we'll talk about that stuff later. But especially with like the planet that they're from, like that I think that's a
Yeah.
real true. It's like there's a bunch of like cool stuff for like the younger crowd, but then I think there's like snippets in there for like the older people too to be interested in and sink their teeth into. Brandi, what did you think?
I like the episode. I like the show. I think it's cute. Like Adelia, they're on their adventure. They're trying to find their way back home. Nobody can find their home because it doesn't exist anymore. Apparently, to a lot of people, they just think that the kids are lying, that they're not from there. But they're like, that's our home. What are you talking about? They have no clue what anybody is talking about. They're like, it's our home. That's where we live. What are you talking about? We can't get there. You can't find it. I liked, yeah, their escape with Jack, something Jack.
What
And
was
then
his
not
name?
His
Captain,
name was like Jod Na Wood is the first name he told them.
and then we
Then
got
when they
Captain
got
Jack,
to the owl person, we got Crimson Jack.
Crimson Jack.
Crimson Jack.
Yeah,
Yeah. I them I obviously I wouldn't really trust somebody either, so I don't think any of them trust each other. And
Yeah.
then we got that cute little owl, Kim.
It looks straight out of Harry Potter, that one.
yeah.
But it was
Not
cute.
gonna lie, like I said it while we were watching it. Yeah, I said this while we were watching it though. I thought they were going to bring in uh sequel trilogy Maz Kanata. I
Yeah.
thought that they were going to act because as soon as he said she, she deals with like people that smuggle and everything else. So I thought there was going to be like a way for them to tie this into like the sequel trilogy movies. I do think that they realized that so like when they first started this thing, Disney did, they were afraid to touch the prequels, but then they found out, oh, we were wrong. The prequels are something that a lot of people like really love and are fond of. So then that's why we even get like something in this episode where there's a battle droid that's like in the droid section when he's trying to find SM-33,
Yeah.
Shmi, whatever you want to call him. But like, so I think they like realize that, and then they're also realizing that, hey man, like besides the Force Awakens, people didn't really dig the sequel trilogy, especially the last two movies and stuff like that. So I think they're kind of playing away from that a little bit. There's a couple of things like in some of their other shows they've done that related to it, and they do kind of have to fill in this gap since they're in this time period. One thing I found super interesting was the fact that they mentioned the Old Republic. So the planet they're from is back from like the old Republic when some things went down. There were certain planets and stuff like that that they kept off the registry for some reason. This may or may not lead into something that we know that's a possible project that they're doing that's supposed to be James Mangold's project, which he just released a movie. So I think he may be free now to actually work on his Star Wars project unless something happens. That's supposed to be like the beginning of the Jedi. So like old Republic, right? From like the very beginning of it. He's supposed to be working on a film during that time. So we actually might get maybe some things that were leads to something like that, right? Like to where we learn maybe about this planet. Maybe this planet has something to do with like a James Mangold movie. So that could have a tie in there. It doesn't have to, but I just found that pretty cool that they actually said something about the Old Republic. They don't really bring up the Old Republic a whole lot, but I'm really enjoying the show. The care. I said this for the first 2 episodes, but it seems like the people that are working on the project care, love Star Wars, and they just wanted to make something cool in Star Wars. They went back to like old school. Like I think Will may have been CGI because of what kind of character she ended up being, but they used puppets for the little guy who was like flying them when they first got to the planet, in the second episode. And like a lot of like their werewolf guy is practical effects. It's not a lot of CGI. They might use some CGI to clean it up a little bit, but I just think it's really cool. The music is hitting pretty good for me so far. I don't think they're doing anything bad there. And it's like its own thing. It's not like they're just taking stuff from John Williams and using it. Maybe they're using some bits and pieces here and there to make certain sounds or whatever. But you can tell like that. And it's written, even though it's a kid's show, it's been written better than some of the stuff they've released recently in the Star Wars universe. Like, so the kids aren't just stupid and just, oh, this guy's trying to help us, we're going to follow him. You've got the one guy that thinks he's a Jedi, right? That obviously believes him because of that, because he wants to be a Jedi or something himself. He's playing with the toys in the one episode. But you got some of the crew, some of the kids that don't trust this guy, right? Like this, like looking into him. KB, even like the captain, she's calling herself over here.
No, that's Fern.
That's Fern.
Yeah, Fern. No, but that's what I'm saying. It's like show called She's the Captain, right? Because SM33 thinks she's the captain or whatever. So, but yeah, I just think right now everything kind of makes sense, and there's mysteries that you're waiting for, but you're not confused about them. You kind of know. You may not know what that mystery is, but you know what's happening, right? There's no confusion and stuff here. So I think it's so far well written, pretty well directed. There's not too much of anything that I would really change as far as that goes. So, I'm liking it a pretty good amount. But so the first part of the episode we see the parents. We didn't get to see them. But we got to see all their parents were sitting around in one of the houses. I'm assuming one of the parents' houses and everything else. And they're, all obviously worried and stuff about their kids. Did y'all have anything about like that section of the show or any of that?
I'm glad we keep going back to the parents. That it's just not like forgotten that they're there wondering what on earth's going on with their kids.
Yeah.
I think that's important to include. Plus, I think that the parents trying to get to a meeting with the supervisor, they said in the episode today, might lead us to some information about Atten that we don't have and the kids don't know.
Yeah.
So that could be interesting in a future episode. But I am glad that we are keeping involving the parents because, like, obviously they're worried as hell about their kids.
Yeah, if you're not seeing the parents worried about what happened to their kids, then something's wrong.
Yeah,
I think the only thing that I found, like, I'm cool with the parents being there. Like, as a parent of myself, like I said, I kind of related to the guy because I have to work a full-time job and then take care of my kid and try to do the best I can, and I see where it's coming from. Some people might look at, oh, he's a crappy father because, like, in the first episode or so, he's talking about like he's got to go to work and all this stuff and he can't read the stories. But that's what happens in real life, man, when you're in that situation and stuff like that. And it's not that you're being a bad parent. It's just like you don't have the time, like, and whatnot. So I can understand. And I feel for that guy. And in that certain section of the show on episode 3, like the father really didn't say anything. But, like he just looked like he was deep in thought. And at one time he takes his glasses off, that's like a telltale sign for somebody when they're trying to emote, you know, they're thinking about something or whatever.
Yeah, he
And
looks like the weight of the world is on his shoulders.
right. So I actually think that the whole time they were in there talking and all this stuff, and him not doing the reaction, is he thinking of some way to try to get through the barrier to try to go out and find it, you know, the kids. So I do think probably the next episode we'll probably get a little more of the parents, and they'll probably try to, it's him trying to come up with a way for them to go out there and find them, because obviously, you know, the planet they're on and the barrier and all that stuff, they got rules against that, which, you know, makes it kind of creepy. You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of planet and what kind of thing are they doing here? You know, what is this?
Yeah.
Then we get back to the pirate thing. I wanted to show this just for a second here real quick, just to remind us of like and talk about like, what do y'all think about this like pirate place that we went to, the aliens, all the different characters that you bump into and everything else. And this is whenever they're making their escape from the jails, trying to get to the ship here. But yeah, what do you guys think about like the planet so far and the places, you know, that were there, and how they've set that up along with all the alien species and everything else?
It's a very interesting place.
Yeah. The port feels very Star Wars to me. It doesn't feel out of place in the universe. All the different characters and people starting fights like they did in the cantina back in the original Star Wars. Like it feels very like it belongs there. So I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna pop this guy up because he's right there in the right corner. This is the only shot we really got of him. This is when they're trying to get back to the ship. So they escaped the jail cells. They've gotten out to these little thing to try to get to the port, to try to get to their ship, and they're talking about it right now. And home dude over there on the very far right, that little puppet I was talking about, he got them couple of gold coins, son. He skedaddled his ass out of there in that one episode.
Yeah.
I thought that was like pretty funny and pretty cool looking, man. It just, like I said, it reminds me original trilogy. You know, we got Jabba the Hutt's palace, and we got old Crumb over there, you know, looking like a complete fool, just laughing and stuff like that. So it kind of brings some of that stuff back. But yeah, now what do y'all think about like Jude Law so far? Because we got him in a little bit just in the second episode, but we got a lot more of him obviously in this episode. What do y'all think about Jude Law being in this show, and does it seem like his character fits?
Yeah, he fits.
He totally fits.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. We don't know much about his character, and that's, you know, we're finding out as we go. So
yeah. I think that he hasn't like overpowered the scenes when the kids and him are interacting, which sometimes I feel like when you've got like a really well-known actor and a bunch of kids who are actors that you've never seen before, the adult actor can sort of overpower the scene, and then you just kind of feel them take it over. I haven't felt that with him in this. I think the balance between him and the kids and the way they're interacting feels natural and not forced. I think the kids themselves are doing a fantastic job so far. I don't know what they did as far as like filming with how Neil was filmed. Like, is that practical or CGI or what? But a phenomenal job from all the kids so far. And I think that Jude Law's fit in fine.
Yeah, I totally agree. He's done, to me, just a pretty amazing job so far. Like, yeah, just him acting as his character, acting this part, just kind of fit to me. Looked really, really cool. Like everything, like he's not like, there's actually nobody like the surprising thing to me is sometimes when you have, especially multiple kids doing roles, there might be one that you're kind of annoyed with, and not like in the good way, right? Like if their character is supposed to be annoying, then that's fine. But sometimes you have like an annoying kid being part of that that just kind of bugs you, or they really suck at acting or whatever. And I don't think that's on any one of these kids. I think they've all done like a great job. This is a scene right here of them escaping, and the big cord comes back and snaps. And I thought this was a really cool scene where we see the cord that they break away from finally when they jump into hyperspace. It lets go, and it does rebounds back and takes part of the port, killing some of the pirates there. And you can see like the werewolf man looking off in the distance as that cord's like coming towards them and stuff. He's trying to act all badass and like, oh yeah, bro, I ain't moving.
I believe Werewolf Man is Captain Brutus.
Captain Brutus. But yeah, he's actually I'm gonna be honest with you, man. He's actually pretty cool. Like I do really like that. Matter of fact, like let me throw this up here. Like the big dog right here.
And
he looks
Urkel.
pretty damn cool. Yeah. Like he's doing his thing, but like he does that whole pose where he's like a badass. He's not gonna move, like even though people are dying around him.
Then we
He
got
just
Steve
stands
Urkel
there.
on the side of him.
Yeah, Steve Urkel there. I don't know what to think about Steve Urkel so far.
He hasn't had a very big role so far.
Yeah. But like, even with that being said, like I just like the way he talked even in this episode, like right then he's talking to the werewolf guy, like, what do you want us to do? And it's kind of like, don't know about you, Steve. I don't know if I want him a lot in this thing. I think it's cool that somebody like that's playing a Star Wars character. It's probably something that he's wanted to do. He's, he fits that age range of like probably growing up and watching Star Wars and everything, but I don't know. But
you mean our age?
Yeah,
pretty much.
They should have made him Hondo. He would have been great as Hondo.
Yeah, maybe because you can't really see him and stuff like that. Like as far as like facial stuff or whatever, he'd be hidden behind obviously like a mask or whatever. I mean, I could possibly see that. I did think a pretty cool part of this episode was where we have
I loved this
Crimson Jack and SM33 and stuff, kind of like looking at each other, trying to exert dominance. Either one of them. I just thought that was a really cool scene. Kind of builds up both characters, the droid character and Jude Law's character, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I love how he was like, are these kids really from AT-AT? And SM33 was like, I'll tell you this, they're from somewhere. Great.
And I also really like this scene. This is one scene that, like, I know Brandi made or laughed at or whatever at this moment, was like that she just got through saying, I ain't even tired. Not in the very next little scene is Jude Law walking through with the kids and he's looking at them and stuff, and she's already passed out, like just
that's a typical kid. They're tough. I'm gonna be awake. I'm not tired.
Yeah, exactly. She's always trying to be, and she seems to be the oldest one out of the group. She's always trying to be the leader kind of thing, even though she doesn't really have to be in some points, and trying to be responsible. It's putting that on herself and everything. And now they got Jude Law, and I think she's kind of like, well, now we got another like leader basically kind of thing, but we'll see how that works out. So far, I think the show's done a pretty good job of that. We got KB over here. He's like, do you even sleep? Because she's got on at that time, she had on her little visor thing that covers her eyes. And she's like, I don't trust you and stuff. And this is what I'm talking about. They're planting the seeds of these kids. I just hit the wrong button. But these kids right here. But these kids right here, not trusting them. They're not being like stupid kids or whatever. And I really like that touch. Like, it's not like these kids are just dumb following whatever. They're actually part of the story and doing the thing and being a little intelligent about it. They're not being just annoying little kids that doesn't know what in the world's happening.
Yeah, like I think Wim, the kid with the really curly hair, he can get annoying with his like Jedi worship of this guy, but he also like just wanted to be anywhere but where he was, and so he's having the time of his life, and you can tell.
Yeah.
And Neil, he's probably worried about his family back home because every chance he gets, he rattles off his whole family's names. But he also just seems to want to go along with what Wim is doing. So yeah, and I do kind of like how it's like the two boys. Yeah, I do like how it's the two boys have the one viewpoint of like, this is really cool. We, all this, and the two girls are more skeptical.
Yeah, I think Neil's kind of like sort of in the middle because he's also scared. Like he kind of like, there's some things he enjoys, but then he's also the scaredy cat, like hiding in the back. You know what I'm saying? Like whenever me and Brandi went to the haunted houses and stuff, how she was trying to like hide behind me the whole time and everything.
I did hide behind you. I wasn't trying to. I did.
Right. That's what happens right there. But the bad part about that is when you do that kind of thing, they know you're the one scared. They're waiting for me to walk by. They don't even come at me. Well, they don't even want to touch this. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, oh, she's hiding behind him. I'm going to wait right when he walks around the corner. I'm going to get her. And that's what they did in some cases. Got her. But with that being said, getting back to the show there is one of the things like Adelia mentioned, like whenever we was watching it, and it's about this character right here.
Kim.
Kim, when she comes flying out and everything, like I said, I thought this might have been a Maz Kanata character whenever we was looking at it. But nope, it's just like a new character that they have that is kind of cool, kind of like an owl kind of creature or whatever. And like I get like she knows a lot of things about the galaxy and maps and stuff. It kind of makes sense because she's like a bird creature.
She looks like she's an astronomy professor at Hogwarts.
Why?
Yeah, exactly. So
like
that would be my one question, and I know this is kind of difficult and stuff, but like when we were watching the episode, Adelia mentioned that basically was like looks like could be part of like Harry Potter or whatever. Mm-hmm. Now, with that being said, I can kind of understand what she's talking about, but at the same time, I didn't feel like it didn't fit in Star Wars. I thought that like this character and stuff was actually kind of a cool little addition. Have no problems with it. We have all kinds of characters in Star Wars from all kinds of planet and species. And to me, I was perfectly fine with how I thought it looked good. Like you see the picture here. So I totally was down for this character. Didn't know what to think about her when she first like kind of came in. But after we saw the scene that she was in and everything with all the characters, I thought it was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. I think Kim was a really cool character. I hope she pops up again in the series. But just because it looks like it could also fit in Harry Potter doesn't mean that it doesn't fit in Star Wars. It definitely fit.
I get people doing comparisons, but I do not like it when you automatically assume just because it kind of resembles something else in another thing that it can't be in this world, especially like Star Wars to me. Now, sometimes you can have something thrown in there and it's not, you don't like it, whatever, because the character's not good or something like that. And I get that and understand it. But to not give these things a chance, especially where you're talking about a galaxy, you're not talking about Earth, you're talking about a galaxy, all kinds of thousands of planets. I mean, they say it in here where she knocks it down 99.99% and it's still 10,000 worlds it could be.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like with that many planets and spaces, there's going to be all kinds of things. So give it a chance. I thought the character was like really cool, made sense. It got the story moving because they're trying to find a way home. She ends up finding a way. Now she was stalling because the old X-Wings were on their way. So then they go to get out of that. We get them running off to their ship and everything. They're still fighting. They're like, you're going to tell me who you are and everything else. And all that. Did y'all like that scene where we had them, fussing and fighting over like, oh, we're not getting on the ship until you tell us who you are.
Yeah. And then I liked when she said, you work for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the addition of this droid just because of the fact that like, it makes sense. Like, I think it would be stupid if she was like saying that kind of thing. And then like Jude Law was kind of like being pushed down because he's having to like cater to, this young girl's whims or whatever. But that's not how it is. That's why I love the droid. Really, I like the droid because he's a cool character, but I also like the droid because it helps drive it makes sense, right? So these kids are standing up to this grown ass man. Normally that's not going to work out well, but because they got SM-33, that droid ain't taking no shit. I mean, he's up there with like a torch, like, all right, Captain, you need me to, is he giving you problems? You know what I'm saying? So like, I really like that addition. Like, so the droid's not just there to be a cool pirate sounding thing. The droid's actually there for a purpose and a purpose for the actual story. And it makes perfect sense, right? Because now she's the captain. So if she's going to have trouble, home dude he ain't playing with that shit. You know what I'm saying? He ain't going to sit there and let, things just happen to the kids. And I really love that touch.
There needed to be a character that like is a protector for the kids in this whole scenario. And I'm glad they made it the droid and not like just like Jude Law. I'm glad that he's a scoundrel and we don't know his real intentions and he just wants to get to Ad-Atten for treasure probably. But I'm glad that we will have like sort of like an adult standoff sometimes between the droid and Jude Law.
Yeah, and because basically what I'm saying is like I would not like this very much if it was the kids and let's say, Jude Law was doing the thing, they didn't have the droid, but like the kids kept overpowering him or doing things to him to make him look stupid and dumb. The droid part of this story makes it to where he doesn't have to be stupid or dumb, right?
Yeah.
Like he can still be good at what he does and everything else, and the droid just keeps him in check. Like, and that makes perfect sense because I mean that droid will be whooping his ass unless he like turns him off or able to sneak up on him or something. But besides that droid's going to put up a good fight. So that makes a lot of sense. Now it's like 5-1, so he has to kind of like, okay, so it doesn't weaken Jude Law's character here. So that's one of the things I like about it. This is just a cool shot from the show right here. X-Wings coming in to try to get them and everything else with that moon in the background.
Cool looking.
Yeah. No, I did the same thing. It's like I got to get used to that.
It's not taking me out.
It's not taking you out. There's like 2 buttons, and when I press them, one of them only has like 2 spots for people. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much the episode there. I love the fact that like they tell Neil to fly.
He's like, what?
And Home Dude's like mad at first, but like it makes sense for his character. But then as soon as he finds out, oh, I get to shoot guns, he's ready. He smiles and he's like jumping in the seat like I'm ready to go. So that right there was really
arguing
cool.
over which one of them actually hit. Got a hit.
Yep. This right here, old school look Star Wars. We got the X-Wings. It does have the blue stripes, which is like part of the Resistance and stuff like that, like where they're going from the other colors and everything from where the original was. But yeah, man, just like some pretty cool little shots and stuff that we have going on there in the background as we're watching. And like I said, the action and stuff's pretty cool. They did damn good job because like even this part, where they're going up and he flies really close to the edge and it's like throwing up the dust and sand and stuff like that, like in front of like the X-Wings and everything like you see right here. Just really cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's like there's just not a lot to complain. Like if you're an adult and you watch this and everything else and you're like, this ain't for me because like it's a little too kiddie or something, I can kind of understand that, right? But if you're watching this show right now and you're just hating on it, it's like, bro, where are you coming from? Don't know why you hate, because there ain't nothing to hate about it so far on anything that they've done. I think the writing is good. The stuff they showed good. The action stuff that they've showed. I do agree the first episode was like slower and everything, and that's why I am glad they gave us 2 episodes because we got a little of the action in episode 2 to help us build up to this episode 3. But then we even got even more action in this episode. And it was just it's just a fun time. I'm not going to call this the greatest show I've seen this year. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's just fun being able to watch Star Wars and have a good time and not feel like you're stupid for watching it. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. This is creeping up to me right now. Here in just a second, we'll get into the like scores and everything. But this is creeping up to me like Rogue One's. Ever since I call it Disney Star Wars, since Disney took over like that part of Star Wars. Rogue One's going to be probably my number 1 forever, unless they make something really good. And then I do think Mandalorian season 1 and season 2 was pretty good. But this is creeping up to be 3rd or 4th best thing Disney's done since they bought it so far to me. And it's just because I can sit back, relax, have fun. And like I said, I just don't feel dumb watching it. It's like, bro, and it feels like the people in charge are caring about Star Wars. And that's what I really want. Sometimes, even if you care about something, you can make mistakes. And I get that and understand it. And with all that, and this show may start to fall apart as we get closer and closer to the end of the show. And we shall see. Yeah. But I don't think so. Like sometimes you can see warning signs. I don't see any warning signs here with this show. Like I don't see where, oh my God, if this were to fall apart, then the show's done. I don't really see any of that so far. It doesn't mean it can't happen. But just feel good, man. So far, this show's making me feel good, which I am so happy about with anything Star Wars because I've been feeling down on Star Wars the last few entries they've done.
Yeah. Next week's episode is directed by the directors of Everything Everywhere All at Once. So I'm excited to see.
Oh,
Star
nice.
Wars.
Nice. Yeah. Nah.
The Daniels. Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert.
Nice.
So.
That could be kind of cool. Like,
yeah.
Probably
I'm
going to have some more action.
To see what they do. Yeah.
Yeah, probably going to have some more action in the next episode. Looking forward to it. Yeah. That feels so good to be able to say I'm looking forward to the next episode of the Star Wars show.
Yeah.
How happy he is.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Smile, Justin. You show us how happy you are.
You know what? I feel pretty good. So I'm going to do something real quick, but while I'm doing that, if you girls, starting with you, Adelia, kind of give your grade so far, first 3 episodes of the show going on, and just anything you want to add as we're going out of here.
I'd give this an 8 so far. I'm really enjoying it. I think that like I said, the kids, I don't know what he's doing. Like I said, I know the kids, I think the kids have been really good, and I get annoyed by child actors really easily. So the fact that I'm not annoyed by these kids tells me they're doing a really good job. I think that, I see what he's doing now.
You can see it. I can't.
I can see it. You can't see it. But he did. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it. You put the mask on.
Put the mask on.
That's right.
Oh, do you have the batteries in it?
This is what happens whenever I get happy with Star Wars.
I'm just glad we can still hear you.
I can hear you. I got my headphones on.
No, I'm saying I'm glad we can hear you, because speaking through a mask is not easy.
Well, I mean, it's a stormtrooper mask.
I was like,
they
did you
put them on all the time?
There's batteries that you could put in it, so I think it.
I have not put batteries in here. This is the regular voice, so maybe I can get some batteries and actually do the voice changing thing that this thing does.
But for those listening on the audio feed, Justin is wearing a black stormtrooper helmet
that I bought him at Rhode Island Comic-Con. That was signed by Giancarlo Esposito.
Well, that being said, man, I really do enjoy this show, and it's like I don't think this episode threw it up to like an 8 or 8.5 for me so far. I think I'm still around a 7.5, A- B+ range as far as a grade on the show so far. But yeah, super happy with what's going on so far, and I feel like the people making this show love Star Wars. That's what I want.
Yep. What do you grade it, Brandi?
I give it a 7.5. I'm liking the show. I love the kids. The kids are doing pretty awesome. Sometimes I can get annoyed with some of the kids, but most of the time I give them all the benefit of the doubt, and I think a lot of them do a good job. These kids are doing a fabulous job, and I'm like, they got all different you see all different personalities, like the one that's the dreamer, the one that's like a little just following his friend, the other one that's the smart one, the other one the tough one. Like, they all got their different personalities. They're not the same. They're not, they're with each other, but they're not. The only one following is Neil, but like they're pretty own individual people. And
I love that they gave them their own individual personalities, and each one has a trait that makes them. And yeah, that's great.
Yeah, these kids are doing tropey things, but like, it's okay to do tropes if you do them well. The problem with tropes, if you don't do them good, then they kind of suck. But these kids are tropey, but at the same time, they're doing it well. They're acting it well. They're playing the part good.
Okay, Justin, can you take the helmet off now? Because it really is kind of hard to hear you.
Nah, man, it ain't going off.
Okay.
I'm not taking it off. I'm in Star Wars mode right now.
All right, then I'll just handle the rest of the show, because I don't think the audio feed will be able to hear you. Thank you, everyone, for watching. This is our post-credit show for Skeleton Crew. We will be back next week with episode 4, which, like we said, is directed by the directors of Everything Everywhere All at Once, which was a really cool movie that won a lot of Oscars. And we'll see if Justin is excited enough about Star Wars next week to put on the helmet again.
Yeah, maybe. Well, with that being said, if that's it, man, until next time, listen, guys, please like, subscribe, leave your comments, what you think about the show down below. Grab yourself a cup of coffee. which is what we're on now, and join us in the Discord and stuff, and you'll be able to watch these shows with us and everything. So
ko-fi.com/LGR_network. And please subscribe to the channel. We're like 13 away from 1,000.
Yep. And trying to hit those couple of milestones and everything else. And for the new year coming up, I'm going to try to do a little bit more, put a little bit more out there, do some more live things on like our Twitch channel, and then put some of the stuff on the Twitch channel to the YouTube and everything else. Talking about a lot more things for the next coming up year.
Couples Therapy with Gremlins review came out today as well. Check that out.
That's right. That did happen.
Yeah, we did that real quick.
That did happen. Well, guys, until next time, until next week when we do the post-credit for episode 4 for a show it seems like we're all on board with so far, may the force be with you and stay sexy like a stormtrooper.